Welcome, everybody, to Up on the Soapbox podcast. This is episode 14. Those numbers every week. They just amaze me that we can do it this long and be as successful as we are, Dan, right? We've been successful?
It's 14. It's not 1400. I mean,
we'll get there.
Way to burst my bubble. That's really cool. Dan, what's going on with you today? Everything good?
Everything's cool, man. We're doing good. We're it's a work day. We're basically working, and we have the pleasure now to meet one of our Soapbox founding suppliers here and get to know her a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that.
Way to tee me up. Thank you so much. So we do have a special guest with us this week. And why would this week be different than any of the other weeks? So today, joining us here on our podcast, we have Grace Schettler. She is the director of sales at Cap America, a very fine supplier, a founding supplier on the Soapbox. You can meet with Grace and many of folks on her team. In fact, I think they rotate in a couple of folks from a VP on down to a couple of directors and whatnot, but she could talk a little bit more about that. But we do have Cap America on our platform, and they've been a great addition. They do a fine quality product, and we couldn't be any happier. Grace, great to have you here today. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? The floor is yours if you want to explore your foray into the promo world, how you got in your position that you're in now, or tell us about the names of your pets. Either way, whatever you want to do, go ahead.
Well, my story into promotional was pretty interesting. Actually, I was in college in Middle Tennessee back in 2005, and I was VP of forget the promotional whatever for my sorority. And so I had to order like t-shirts and signs and buttons and all of that for my sorority. So I was going to a promotional company and ordering all of that. Well, when the event was over, they came to me and they said, you need to come work for us. And I said, well, my parents don't really make me work yet. And they're like, you need to come work for us. You're very organized. You need to come. So I did. I worked there for 4 years. They were a fantastic family-owned promotional products company in Middle Tennessee, and they became like my second family. They let me do my schedule however I wanted to. I did everything from QCing, screen printing, to checking in orders from all of the ASI distributors. So that's kind of how I got to know the industry itself. Then I moved to Atlanta. I worked for another company in our industry. I thought this is a fun industry. I kind of want to stay in the industry. Actually started there in customer service. Somebody reached out to me and said, our VP of sales at the time was like, you need to sell. So I was kind of shy at the time, brand new out of college, thought, I don't know if I really want to do sales or not. So he kind of eased me into it, took me on a few sales calls, and he's like, I think this is what you need to do. So I kind of went from customer service to managing key accounts to then the national sales manager at that company. And then because of my relationships there with our multi-line reps, both companies had multi-line reps. One of our multi-line reps carried Cap America, and he said, this is a family-owned company. You need to talk to them and you need to go work for them. So our president, Mark Gaiman, always jokes that it took him 6 months to get me on to Cap America, 6 months to a year, and it's been the best decision since. So I've been with Cap America now for 4 years.
Wow. Very good. Congratulations. A nice, steady upward mobility is the way I hear that. So that's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about Cap America. I think I've dabbled in the headwear portion of our industry for a number of years, and I have a half an idea what's going on there. It's been a while though, so you can bring us up to date on the ins and outs of that market. But basically, I understand it to be a relatively crowded marketplace, lots of different choices there and different directions to go. So, the first question I like to ask is, what is the core competency over there at Cap America, if there is just one single core competency, or sort of what makes your company stand apart from that crowded marketplace?
Are you asking them what she hangs her hat on?
Sort of. Yeah, sort of I am.
Exactly.
Yeah. If I was clever and witty, I might have put it that way. Yes.
The headwear space is, there are a lot of headwear companies in our industry, and really what makes Cap America different is that we decorate all of our own headwear. So we bring in, we design, we develop our own headwear line, and we bring those in as blanks and decorate them there. So we have over 500 heads of embroidery. They run 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. And so it allows us to decorate a lot of headwear and fast. And if you are a decorator, headwear can be painful in volume just because your embroidery machines have to be set up all the time for headwear. And that's what we do. And we kind of are a single category. We do, you know, hats and knits, and we keep it at really all headwear, so that we're really good at doing headwear. We don't really decorate flats. We dabble a little bit in some contract screen print just as a favor for some of our distributors, things like that. But we really just specialize in headwear, and we turn it fast. You know, with the changing pace of our industry right now and some of the supply chain issues, we're experiencing kind of the same thing. We're typically a 3-day turn time from approval. Right now we're 3 to 5. Hopefully it stays about 3 to 5. We've got our pulse on it. We're watching it every day, and we're being really upfront with all of our customers and letting everyone kind of know what the issue is there. We're hiring on a constant basis, but finding people to run the machines is I think that's what's happening to a lot of our industry. So we're just being really transparent. Communication is what Cap America does. And going from 3 to 5 days is okay. The good news is that our industry is picking up. It's crazier. I haven't seen a buzz like this. I've done a couple of live events, and people are glad to be out and see new. We haven't physically seen new in like a year and a half. So people are excited,
So you started in this industry, it sounds like just around 05, 06 when you were getting out of school. And back then, social media was not a huge component of what's going on. So what do you think is the biggest changes you've seen, the biggest change you might have seen in your give or take 15, 16 years in the industry from when you started to now?
One of the biggest things I've noticed, especially even at Cap America in the last 4 years and in the industry alone, is that retail and promotion are combining faster than they ever did. You used to could launch a product in the promotional industry and it might take 2 years to catch on. You'd add it because you'd see it at retail and the inspiration would come, and then it would take 2 or 3 years. It's merging way faster than that now. So I just noticed the pace, especially, I see it in anywhere from drinkware to headwear. You just see those two pieces merging faster. People are asking for what's retail relevant. That was one of the things we added a year ago, is we added really high-end caps. We didn't have that. We had entry level, good, better, best. Now we have that premium series that really takes it to the next level to kind of give you everything you need. But that's what I've noticed. And obviously the social platform and the fact that we're doing this. I mean, we're Zooming, and I absolutely love online platforms, and because you can hit everyone at one time. It doesn't replace the in-person visits all the time. You still have to see people, you still have to build those relationships, but you can hit a large target this way. There are people who don't want to travel. There are people who have families at home that can't necessarily do that, and to be able to meet with people via an online service is really impactful in my opinion.
Very good.
All right, so let's switch gears here. We're going to go to our soapbox moments today. And the last time I believe Dan started, is that correct, Dan? You did. You went first. So it's now my turn.
Wasn't too long ago. You should remember this.
Yes. Okay. So now it's my turn. I'm going to go first with my soapbox moment. And this may come as a surprise to people that know me well. I like to be a little controversial and mix things up. I mean, that's the whole nature of being up on a soapbox, is it not? You get to voice your opinion. So I'm going to talk a second about the craft beer movement in breweries. And I think I'm pretty much over it. I am an absolute lover of craft beer. I was drinking craft beer before anybody knew what craft beer was. In fact, and this is not to, make me sound like I'm too cool for the room, but I was brewing my own beer long before the brewery boom even started. So I'm a beer lover. I'm at the point now where it's just too much. I can't keep up. I can't differentiate between this IPA and that IPA and this stout and that stout. I don't know why I should be waiting in line 6 hours for this beer, whereas this one tastes just the same. I'm just on overload here. Now, I moved to the Charlotte area 7 years ago. And when we got down here, there might have been about 20 breweries. There's now about 60. Every week there's a new one opening. I can't keep up with even seeing them all. So it's a first world problem. I'm complaining about craft beer. It's an issue. but I think I'm getting to that tipping point where I'm over it. So much so that I kind of even stopped drinking it. I'm now going to bourbon because I'm much closer to Kentucky than I've ever been,
Yeah.
and it's easier to drink for me after a while.
Okay.
So
It's harder to get. It's harder to get though.
yeah, it's becoming very hard to get. Some of the brands are impossible to get, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
craft beer, it's just to me, it's being overdone, and I don't know how much more that the market can bear of it. So, Dan, any opinions
No,
on that?
I think you make an interesting point. It's a surprising point, as
I told you.
as you alluded to earlier. I would advise you, with your waiting 6 hours online, don't. Okay, just don't. It's beer. Okay, go to the next IPA. You're busy telling me there's 3,000 IPAs in the case. Grab the one next to it, okay,
right.
and then you'll be fine. The truth is there isn't a huge difference between a lot of these things, but I think it's interesting to support local businesses, and that's, to me, what I love about it. When I go to an area, like I was in Florida last week, and I just asked for what's the local one? We'll give them a go. We'll give them a try. I still get a kick out of it. I still like it. I do hear your point though, because you go to the case, sometimes you're like, it's overwhelming and there's just too much there.
Oh, I'm not giving up on this. Trust me. I have a Saturday morning date at a brewery, so I'm good. But got to start the Saturdays off well.
Here in Montana, you go to the beer section and you see all seltzers. Because
Right.
apparently we drink more seltzer than anyone per capita in the whole United States. The state of Montana does. So there are literally not beer pyramids in the gas stations. There are seltzer pyramids. There's
Wow.
more seltzer than you'd ever see.
And seltzer's the next boom. That's booming too. I mean, even though some of the local breweries are moving into seltzers, it's crazy. I don't know. Again, they all taste the same.
If I had to pick a state that I might think was going to be last in the seltzer movement, it might be Montana.
Right.
That's what I thought too. That's why I mentioned it. It's like, where did that come from?
All right. Well, listen, my
cherry,
my soapbox moment is again going to be, I think, kind of a mellow, not too earth-shattering type thing. It's just something that occurred to me this morning, actually. My cousin is the stage manager for a little production in Las Vegas, a Cirque du Soleil called O. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but he's the stage manager out there, and they're starting up again today. So it was big news. Saw it on the news. Heard about it. Read about it. They were dark for a long time during COVID. They even filed bankruptcy, frankly, the whole Cirque du Soleil. But they've brought back 96% of all the employees they had earlier.
Wow.
And they're opening up O tonight. So I was thinking, I grabbed my phone and I was sending him a text message, and the message was, I was considering sending him break a leg. And it made me think, what kind of stupid what kind of crazy comment is that? If you think about it, it makes absolutely no sense. Made me start to think about other sayings that we take for granted. We say to people, rules are made to be broken. Well, no, they're not. They're rules. And I'm giving 110%. No, you're not. You can't, So anyway, that's my soapbox moment, is we use these crazy expressions. We don't even think twice about them, including the old break a leg, which by the way, I went to Wikipedia and I said, what is this about? Right. Did any of you have an idea? Brett, you're a theater guy, aren't you?
No, I'm not a theater guy.
I've read about it before.
Yeah. So you know the answer?
No.
Yeah, and I too have read about it, but I don't recall what it was.
I read about it and I still don't know what it means, because I don't think there's a purely defined reason why they do this. There's theories and different things. The one I liked the best was from the 14 or 1500s, when there would be a show of some kind. People would take their chairs and bang them on the ground, and if they liked it enough, they would bang them hard enough that they would break a leg. Yeah. So it's not a human leg, it's a chair leg.
Oh, their chairs were made out of stone then, so that all makes sense. So Grace, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because I just came back from vacation and travel. Actually, I've traveled a ton for work in the last 3 months, happily. But you know what it is? It's just annoying travelers. Those that travel a lot, when you're going through, pre-check, that's supposed to mean like you kind of know the drill here. And the people that just don't know that, it just drives me crazy. They don't have your ID out with your boarding pass. It's like, how many times have you been through line, have your ID and your boarding pass out? Yeah. So those kind of people, and just sitting on the plane watching people load their stuff, I'm the kind of person who like knows my awareness of other people around me. And so it's like, get on, put your bag up. If you need to get stuff out, you know, and people pulling all their stuff out in their seats. I'm just like, you know, maybe there needs to be a class on traveling or fast traveling or something, because it cracks me up the way these people move. And especially this year, I mean, I think a lot of people haven't done it in so long, they're completely lost at what to do. I mean, it's just like, do I take my shoes off? Don't I? And then, you know, there's different lines now. They give you like a laminated piece of paper that says your pre-check, and then you go through the same line with everybody else because there's employee shortages all over the country. So that's been interesting to watch. It's truly entertainment.
It is a little harder right now for sure. And then the other thing is, like, everyone and their brother's getting TSA, right, or pre-check. So there's just, sometimes I go to the airport and there's more people on the pre-check line than there is on on the regular line, you know.
I mean, it's big problems down here in Bozeman. You know, our line goes all the way down to the elevator. Too many people have watched Yellowstone.
Yeah, right. This is a topic that certainly warrants its own standalone podcast, because any of us, and I came off a job a couple of years ago where I was on the road 3 out of 4 weeks, and my goodness, I have a laundry list of pet peeves from traveling, and there's so many. Well, the one that just always comes to mind is, when did neck pillows become fashion accessories? I don't understand how that became a necklace at some point along the way. And by the way, why do you need a neck pillow for a 45-minute flight? That part I don't get.
I don't understand.
The one that always seems to come up is the people that stand up as soon as the plane lands, and people are annoyed by that, right? So they're,
well, now you get a text message every time you land that says, you need to exit by road, keep your seat. And it cracks me up how no one does that either.
I haven't seen one of those.
All right, so you mentioned Bozeman, you mentioned Yellowstone, and that's a good transition into our yes/no question for today. So today, as we were formulating some concepts for today's podcast, I knew where you were located, and I certainly know who you work for. So I did a little research, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about the cowboy hat. And I'm sure there's no shortage of those. You could probably walk out your front door and spot, 80% of the people wearing cowboy hats up where you live. So apparently, and you may or may not know this, you come from a headwear company, but the cowboy hat came around mid 1800s by the Stetson Company out of suburban Philly area, I believe. And they developed the cowboy hat because those people who were ranching needed something a little more rugged to kind of stand up to the elements of the weather. So they started making them out of pelts and skins and whatnot. And they became a real practical, popular piece of headwear for those people who are out there ranching. Yes, sir.
Is there a yes/no question here?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course there is. So
I get history first.
Yeah, of course. I didn't read this for nothing. I want to impart my knowledge. So the cowboy hat is obviously a very popular accessory out there, and it's also very functional. So here's my question: is the cowboy hat the greatest headwear of all time?
No.
Now we're going to need to know why not.
And I love a quick answer like that.
I do too.
You know what? Because I'm from Nashville, the cowboy hat situation has blown out of proportion in Nashville, and everybody that comes to visit Nashville thinks that they need to wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat to visit. And so that is why my answer is no. The funny thing is, in Montana, the true cowboys wear cowboy hats. You can tell the tourist instantly when there's a cowboy hat on, just FYI, anybody visiting, because most of the locals that aren't truly ranchers don't wear them as a fashion accessory.
Yeah. So you mean my Birkenstocks and white knee-high socks with the cowboy hat just won't cut it out there? Is that what you're saying?
We would pinpoint you. We would know that you're not from here.
So it's more a matter of annoyance again. We're talking about more pet peeves here as to why the cowboy hat is not the best headwear.
I think they're awesome for ranchers.
What's a better hat? What's your choice of headwear, may I say?
Well, a ball cap, because that's what Cap America sells. And everyone always says, what's your favorite ball cap? And it's the one that sells the most.
Yeah.
I really should end it right here, but I do want to ask you one other question about ball caps. How did all of a sudden dads get a dad cap? What's that all about?
So I've heard multiple stories. The one I kind of stick to is the sorority, college age kids. It became a huge trend for them. Their dads always wore that chino unstructured sliding brass buckle cap.
Right.
And
yes, we
that was what their
do.
dads wore. So they started calling it a dad cap. But I've heard other stories than that. Someone told me a new one last week. I've already forgotten it. But that's the one I stick to.
I don't know. I just I get offended by dad everything at this point. I mean, when you're the father of 3, and I'm getting to my I'm in my midlife right now, so it seems like the things
trucker cap right now though is
Truck.
the hottest thing across all industries. It really for everyone. I mean,
and that's where I'm going to end it. That is exactly where I'm going to end it. Trucker caps from Cap America.
Yep.
Buy them from
8502.
Buy them from Grace. Grace, thanks for being with us today. We love having Cap America on the platform as a founding supplier. We really appreciate your support here, and come visit with Grace and her team at Cap America on the Soapbox, and we'll see you later. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.